Hey everybody, I'm finally back. It's me, Karen, and I'm here to offer you somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes of a full body resistance training routine. You could certainly do almost everything without weight. And the weights that I'm going to be using today, because I still have some stuff going on with my shoulder, I'm probably going to use kind of a medium weight, maybe about 10-ish pounds. You can use lighter than that. You can go heavier than that. What I like to do is somewhere between about 12 and 16 repetitions of everything that we're doing. I'm only going to do every exercise once. So you're welcome to, once this video is over, do another round of it, and maybe 3 rounds of it or 4 rounds of it, depending on how much time you have. So I've got a band, and I'm also going to use a chair today, or you'll need some sort of step. You can go over to a step, but as we come to each exercise, I'll let you know what you can use and all that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start just with a warm-up. And so I always like to start with kind of a step with a knee bend, and then you can incorporate the arms. So just kind of getting the body warmed up and moving, the shoulders, getting a little stretch through the quadriceps. And you might start to add a little bit of a little squat in the middle. Remember, when we're doing all of this stuff, I'm very focused on posture, making sure that your body is in good alignment as you're lifting. So now I'm going to go into a squat with a twist. So I'm going to go low, twist, and come back up. So squat, twist. Now, if your shoulders don't want to open up that much, you can do the same thing, twist and just bend the elbow, or again, extend that arm straight. When you're squatting, we're going to be doing a few rounds of squats with different movements, different exercises. So make sure your knees stay behind your toes. Woo, let's get a little Frankenstein kicks going. So moving the arms in kind of a quarter circle, kick. I'm short, so I can tap my toes. You might not reach the toes if your legs are much longer than mine. Don't bend over to tap your toe. Keep your spine nice and straight. Okay, I'm feeling pretty warmed up. Maybe let's do some shoulder circles. You can put your thumbs on your shoulders. Big circles. Okay, so we're gonna start with a chest press with some leg lowers. So this is gonna get our upper body, our chest, the front of our shoulders, and we're gonna work the core. So I'm gonna grab my weight, and again, you can use a band wrapped around and do your press that way with a band. If you don't have a band or a weight and you want something, you can fill up a water bottle or anything that you can find that you can hold on to pretty easily. So I'm gonna go legs up in the air, and as I press my arms up, I'm gonna lower my legs. Exhale, push straight up. You can go the opposite way too, where you're pushing as the legs go down. So it's always good to kind of try different ways of doing things and see what works best for you. As my legs are coming down, I'm making sure my low back is not lifting up away from the floor. So if your back starts to lift up, work on pulling your navel in more towards your spine, or don't go as low with your legs. I'm doing a lot of these because I don't have very heavy weight. I'm squeezing my inner thighs together, so I'm feeling those. I'm gonna do 3, 2, and 1. Good, and then rock yourself up. And let's come up to standing for some squats with an overhead press. Now, what I had originally intended to do for this next one was I was gonna squat and overhead press at the same time. That's one way of doing it, okay? So as you squat, your arms go up. That is a lot more challenging especially for the shoulders and the neck, more so than going squat and then pressing up, okay? So you choose. This one's gonna be harder, squat and press at the same time, versus what I'm gonna do for my shoulder stuff going on, I'm gonna squat and then press. So I get that strength, I get a little bit of momentum for that overhead press coming from the strength of the legs, okay? So sit back into your squat, inhale coming down, exhale going up. So make sure, again, knees behind the toes, keep going. Also make sure your knees are not collapsing. I'm gonna show you like this, inward, so you almost feel like you're pressing your knees outward. As your arms go up, your shoulders stay down. Shoulders down. Really strong core here. If we're not engaging the core, as we come up, we start to lean backwards like this. So keep your belly pulled in. I hope you're counting. It is your job to count your own repetitions. And remember, if your form is falling apart, stop. I'm gonna do 2, 1, and relax. Woo! Okay. Second exercise that we are going to do. Third exercise we're going to do. We're going to do our Bulgarian splits. Split, squat, squat. Okay. So the way you do a Bulgarian split squat is you've got one leg elevated behind you. And this is important here because what happens is people they don't step far enough in front. And then when you go to do your squat or your lunge, look how my knee is going over past my toes. So what you need to do, whether you need to go over to a wall and get a little support, is hop that front foot forward a little bit more, okay? I'm gonna grab some weight. I always start with my weaker leg doing most of the work. So I'm gonna go big step out in front. This is another way to do it. Step way forward, and then you gotta reach back a little further. So you can go over to some stairs and put one foot on the back. Make sure, again, it works best if your ankle is kind of hanging off the front of the step. Inhale down, exhale up. So as I'm coming up, I'm really pushing down into my left heel and squeezing my left glute. Inhale, exhale. My spine is straight. My neck is long. My hips are pointed forward. My navel draws in towards the spine on that exhale coming up. These are hard. I'm only going to do 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Relax. So I'm going to do a little alternate. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to alternate with the upper body. I'm going to do a set of push-ups. The way I'm going to do these push-ups, I'm going to have one leg lifted, okay? So your harder version is going to look like this, okay? Your easier version, you've got that, I'll show you from this side, knee down, okay? So I'm gonna go knee down. Again, I'm gonna do anywhere between, 10 to 16 of these. So go ahead and lift your one leg up, inhale going down, exhale going up. Make sure that you're going down in one straight line from your knee to the top of your head or from your heel, oh my God, to the top of your head. Elbows in, shoulders stable on the back. We don't want to do this, keep going. Okay, we don't want to go rounded in the upper back, and we don't want to let the chest collapse. Whew. All right, I'm gonna take a little rest. And that's one of the hardest things to figure out. And for me to try to teach to people in yoga too, lowering down and coming back up through your planks, your chaturangas, is I see a lot of people either go too heart forward or too heart back and rounded. You want to be right in the middle. Shoulders stable, not here and not here, right in the middle. Okay? All right, I do a lot of talking, I know. Okay, back to your Bulgarian split squat. So this time I'm gonna have my right foot out in front, step way forward, and so if you don't have a mirror, so again, make sure if you've got your leg up here, it's gonna be harder to come down low. So try to get your ankle, the front of your ankle, to hang off the mat or the step. Inhale, push. Inhale, coming down. So what you have to think about too is really dropping that back knee straight down to the floor. You squeeze both glutes coming up, but especially that right glute. Exhale up. Inhale down. Push into the heel. Long spine. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, set that off to the side if you don't have a lot of space. And let's do that second set of push-ups. I'll go this way. I don't even remember which leg I lifted before. I think I lifted my left leg. So I'm going to lift my right leg up and lower and push up. Belly in. Remember the placement of the shoulders. Long neck. Don't let your head hang low, and don't keep your head lifted either. Right in the middle. Long neck. I'm going to do 3, 2. It's always fun to go back. I watch the video sometimes just to see how many I did and see if I was even. Because I really mostly go by feel. But it's good to keep count too. Okay, so what do we have next? We have a kettlebell bent row. And normally the way I do these is one side at a time like this, kind of in a lunge position. So another way to do your bent row, like if you're doing it with a bar, is here, okay? So again, I'm not hyperextended and I'm not rounded over. My spine is long, reach to the crown. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be alternating. So I'm going to actually have my knees a little wider. So instead of being here, you can do either way. Okay, so go ahead and start, or you can go wider. Now I'm going a little faster because I've got some lighter weight. I tried the heavier weight for this and it was just a little too tough on my shoulder. The other thing you can do, keep going. If you've got a band, is you step on the band, and I like to cross and row. And you can add a little bit of a twist, twist, twist. Shoulder, shoulder. When you're doing these, you're not pulling with the arm. Pull with the shoulder. Pull with the back of the shoulder. Okay? 4, 3, 2, 1. Or keep going. Okay. Now this next one, a little more advanced. If you're familiar, if you feel good with kettlebell swings and squats, you should feel fine with these. So just a little precursor, if it doesn't work, just do your regular kettlebell swings. So we're gonna do one arm at a time, okay? So if you were doing just a regular kettlebell swing one at a time, or let's say you were doing a regular kettlebell swing, it's gonna look like this. Okay, you know what you're not doing is this, right? I'm over exaggerating, so you might even just be doing it a little bit, and that's gonna hurt the back. So when you come up, belly in, tailbone down. One arm at a time, looks like this. One arm goes through, the other arm swings with it. Okay, so for the most part, if you look at my legs are typically pretty straight. So what I'm gonna do today, single arms, we're gonna do 2 sets on each side of when I swing, I'm gonna squat, okay? So instead of going here, well, you'll get the feel. So I'm gonna start with my weaker arm, left arm, and that weight's gonna go in between my legs, okay? So, a little weird to get started. So you might even kind of get that swing going, and then squat, squat. These are hard, squat. Not a lot of weight. Weight back in the heels, belly in. Belly in. 3, 2, 1. Huh. I might regret that later. I do regret not having my water right now. Okay. So now we're gonna combine that with a lateral raise for the shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna work that same arm. So it's a lateral cross raise. So the motion looks like this. I do this one a lot, actually. I love it. That's from the front, from the side, from the back. What I'm really working on here is back of the shoulder, upper back. Okay, if you're using a band, or weight, don't let your wrist go like this. Anytime you're holding weight, you don't want your wrist to be like this. You want it to be straight, okay? So, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a band to pull with, and then a nice little addition to this is to hold weight on the other side. So I'm gonna start with my left arm kind of over more towards my right thigh. Nice wide stance, and then pull, pull. So when you're pulling, keep going. The wrist is straight, back of the neck is long. I'm thinking about pushing my pinky finger back. The other thing is, of course, when you get tired, you want to do this, right? So go lighter on the weight, or maybe don't go quite as high with the arm. Strong, strong exhale as you lift. Strong core, lift. I'm gonna go 3 more. Woo! All right. Feeling good. Feeling hard, but feeling good. Okay, so back to those kettlebell swings with the squat combination. So remember, you can go regular kettlebell swing, regular single arm kettlebell swing, or squat. Okay, it's really, it's actually it's a new movement for me. So when you do your kettlebell swing, it's coming from the strength in your hamstrings and your glutes, right? So you do get the hips back to help you, as you're sitting back. Anyway, it's hard to explain, it's hard to do. but it's fun to try, right? So you can try those other options if this isn't working for you. Okay, so I'm gonna, so I kind of start, I'm slowing it down here. I'm starting here, and then instead of throwing my hips forward, I'm squatting. Hips back, squat. Keep up, shoulder down, strong core. This will get the heart rate going big time. Three more for me. Woo! Holy moly. Okay. Catch your breath if you need to. Obviously, how do you? Okay. So lateral raises. I'm gonna have the band underneath my right foot. I'm gonna hold weight in my left hand. Remember, you do not want to be doing this. It's horrible. You wrap that band so it becomes part of your hand, okay? Soft knees, ready? Start at the left thigh, pull across. Ooh, much easier on this side for me. It's funny, my shoulder, I can't remember the last time I did a video if my shoulder was bothering me. It started bothering me when I started, right before I started working on I did a workshop on shoulders and neck, and then I started having pain. But doing the workshop helped me a lot. Last one for me. And then it kind of went away, and then it kind of came back. Big thing for me is posture, and I don't sleep with a pillow under my head anymore. I sleep on my back, so I can keep this instead of head forward. Okay. And alrighty. So now we're done with our full body or our upper body, lower body for the most part. Let's see, what are we at? 22, perfect. Let's do a little bit of core work and then we'll stretch, okay? So come on down onto your back. And let's start with a sit-up with an overhead press. It's actually it's gonna be an overhead pull, which works it's a pull over, which works your lats, combined with a sit-up and an overhead press. So the first one I'm gonna do slow just to show you. So I'm starting overhead. What's really common is that as we take that weight back overhead, I'm gonna over-exaggerate this, our back starts to arch away from the floor, and then when we go to pull the weight, we put a whole lot of strain on the low back. So when the weight is going overhead, I'm actually going to kind of press my back down into the floor and keep pressing it down as I bring it up. Dig into your heels, sit up, and then press that weight overhead. Bring it back to the shoulders, inhale, back is flat, exhale. Push. A lot of shoulders today. Dig those heels down, nail the spine. You can certainly do this without the overhead press, right? And you can do it without weight. Just do your sit-up. Maybe do an overhead press without any weight. All right, come on down. I want to do one more thing for the hamstring and the glutes, because you know I like working the hamstrings and the glutes. Just really quick, come up into a bridge and have your arms by your sides. Make sure you're reaching your tailbone towards your knees. Scoot your left foot a little more towards the center, and then take your right foot straight up in the air. And then I'm going to lower, and I'm going to lift. Lower the hips. If you want to make this harder, go leg down, leg up. And I like to go flex and point. Flex and point. You're really working on pushing into that left heel. 4, 3, so you're feeling that a little bit more on the left glute, 2, and 1. Back up, and then bring that foot down. Stay in your bridge, but just relax into it. Walk your right foot more towards the center. Lift your left leg, and either lift lower with that leg staying lifted, or flex, lower, point, lift. Push to the right heel. Stay in your body. Stay with your breath. I always say your breath is the most important part. Alignment is extremely important too. But if you're not breathing, you're not living. Or you're at least passing out for a little while. All right, I'm gonna do one more. And then bridge and lower. Ha! Okay, go ahead and extend your legs straight. Stretch your arms over your head. Stretch through the whole body. Hug your right knee up into your chest. Take your right leg up, interlace the fingers behind it, and do some circles with your ankle. Take a half happy baby pose, bringing that knee towards the right shoulder or the ground. And bring the leg up and lower it down. Bring your left knee up into your chest, squeeze. Leg goes up, rotate. And half happy baby. Bring the leg back up and down. Roll up. Okay, I'm gonna do a little quad stretch here, seated. So if this doesn't work for you, stand up and grab your foot from behind, or you can do this on your side. You can put a strap around the foot. So I'm just bending one knee and try to get both glutes down. You might need to use that left hand. That really helps me a lot to push into to stay upright. And then you might try laying down onto the back. And when you're here, when you get down onto the back, press that right knee down towards the floor. You're gonna feel that in the hip flexor and in the quad. So if you're standing or if you're on your side holding the back of your foot, pull your belly in, and it's that sensation of tucking your tailbone to help open up more through the front of the hip and the thigh. Oh, I love this. You can do this with both feet, with both knees bent at the same time as well. Okay, and then switch. Be very careful of your knees, okay? Doesn't feel good, don't do it. There's a difference between pain and sensation, okay? So if you're the type of person that does not push yourself hard enough, and every little thing that feels a little uncomfortable you run away from, you need to step into that more. Step into that, not pain, but step into that discomfort and that sensation. If you're someone, maybe a lot of people I know, including myself, I've learned my lesson the hard way, where you're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Tone it back. You're gonna hurt yourself eventually if you haven't already. It helps to squeeze the glute too on that side that you're stretching. All right, come on up. And just find a comfortable seat. We're right at 30 minutes. We're just gonna take a side bend. Other side. And take the hands behind the back and interlace the fingers together and open up through that chest. And then bring the hands forward and cross the hands, press the palms together. Stretch forward, tuck the chin. And release. And we are finished. I hope you have enjoyed class today. Like I said, you can do a second or a third or a fourth round. And I hope to start putting more of these out again soon. You can follow my YouTube channel, as you probably already are. You can also find my yoga classes on Common Bond Yoga's YouTube channel and on the Mighty Networks. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Namaste.